morning. Welcome to the introduction to this, one of my favorite programs. This program is the Certified Compensation and Benefit Manager program, popularly called CCBM. CCBM is probably one of the leading programs in the whole of Asia to train compensation and benefit professionals. Let me introduce you to this program. Before I start, I'm sure you'd like to know a little bit about me. So just a quick overview. I am a computer science engineer from the University of Roorkee, after which I did my MBA from IIM Calcutta. And subsequent to that, I have won several awards in HR from the World HR Congress, from the Human Capital Institute, and I've also been a visiting faculty at the IIMs, at IIT, and several global universities like the University of Jakarta. With this, let me get started. Now, coming to the CCBM program, it's a certified program. So like all our certified programs, it has three major components. Let me take you through the three major components. The first component is a 16-hour workshop, followed by 24 hours of guided project work. Now, in this project work, whatever you learned in the workshop, you'll have to apply to a practical situation. So, for example, if you want to develop a point plan for your company, this would be a good opportunity to work with experts and develop a point plan for your company. Once you complete the project work, based on the project work that you submit, you will do your certification process. Now, coming to the program itself, let me highlight what the program contains. Typically, the first 2-3 hours, we talk about giving you an insight into the external factors which influence compensation. The environmental factors like government laws. For example, if you look at various laws like protection laws, like gratuity, minimum wages laws, tax laws, how do they impact compensation? How do they impact your policies? How do you ensure that your policies take care of these? This is what we'll be discussing. Along with that, factors like unionization, factors like technology changes, which are creating globalization, social changes, like how are the new millennials thinking and how should we make the new compensation practice to reflect the millennial thinking. All this we'll talk about in the first module, which is about 2 to 3 hours. So let's say we start at about 9:15, 9:20 after a quick introduction. By about 11:30, 12, we should complete this. Then we start on the compensation system overview. Now, this is just to give you an insight into the various types of compensation systems and components of compensation system. Like, for example, if I say market-linked retention bonus, where does this fit in? Why do we have a market MLRB? Or, for example, if I say that you need to have a variable pay for hardship, then why should we have this? What are the deferred pay components? What are the perquisites which are there? How do we look at all these and what is the purpose of all this? This is a quick overview. So we kind of spend about an hour on components and another half an hour, 45 minutes on equity. So if we start at about, let's say 12, 12:15, then probably after lunch, we should be finishing this around 2:30. The next component is probably the most important component, which we start just after lunch on day 1, and this goes right up to tea time, first tea break on day 2. Here we learn the technical aspects of doing a job evaluation, building a job grading system, building a point plan. Also, how to look at other components like hay plan, etc. We explain in brief here. So this total process is highly technically intensive. We often use laptops, etc., so that we can compute all the market correlations, regression values, etc. And this takes about, as I said, 3/4 of a day, starting from post-lunch on day 1, going up to the first tea break on day 2. After that, we spend about an hour, hour and a half on day 2, looking at market comparisons. How do we do market benchmarking? How do we do a market correction? All this we discuss in the component before lunch on day 2. Day 2, after lunch and actually starting a little before lunch, hopefully, up to maybe the tea break at around 4 o'clock, we cover variable pay. What are the various types of variable pay and how do you build a good variable pay program? The last two modules, which are very small, we cover briefly about looking back at benefit planning and a little bit at total reward planning. So the whole module takes you through a fairly intensive program on compensation and takes you from an absolute novice, or even if you are doing some compensation, it gives you a lot of additional tools and techniques. So I hope and wish I see you in this program. It's one of my favorite programs, and I'm sure after attending it, it will be one of yours too. Thank you.